Hey guys, what's going on? MaxFTE here, and today I'm back with another Pokemon Go video. Today we're going to be jumping into the Little Catch Cup, which is basically just a mix of my two least favourite leagues, so it's obviously going to go great fun, isn't it? But yeah, did you also know that only 8.8% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed? So if you're enjoying, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe, and help us on the road to 10k. But yeah, let's jump into the battles. So because we're in the Little Cup, and it is the Catch Cup as well, we are going to be running Bronzor, just because Bronzor is pretty much always guaranteed in Little Cup. I mean, granted, I've not played Little Cup for many seasons, however, I just decided to dip my toes back into it, just because it was the Catch Cup, something a little bit fun. And yeah, Bronzor is always really good, as well as Marill as the safe swap and Scrafty in the back. Marill I find a really good safe swap, but with that bubble as well as the bubble beam, being able to take your opponent's attack down. You can pretty much, there's not much that you sort of lose, as well as having the body slam as well. If you swap in your Marill and they come in with like a Cottony, for example, or a grass type, being able to hit for neutral damage with the body slam is really good. As well as the Scrafty in the back, you definitely don't want the Scrafty as a safe swap. Too many Cottony, too many Wigglytuff, and too many Jigglypuff going about. Too many fairies going about for the Scrafty. So yeah, I was a little bit worried about seeing a, what are they called, Smeargle with lock on and flying press. I've seen so many videos of that thing and it just looks insane. I was a bit worried. I think one of these battles somebody does actually come in with a Smeargle, however it's lock on and try attack that it's got, so not very threatening towards the Bronzor, which I believe that's what it was lined up against. Obviously flying press being the best move in the game, hardly any Pokemon actually has it, and so Smeargle having access to that with the lock on, that would just be a nightmare to deal with. But yeah, this is coming up. We're actually coming up to the end of the season, which this season's feels like it's gone really quickly. Let me know in the comments if you've got any upcoming changes that you're wanting to see, any buffs to Pokemon, any nerfs to Pokemon, just stuff like that, to be honest. Any of your thoughts? I'd like to see grass types become a bit more prevalent again, with maybe more coverage moves, and so I'm trying to think of examples, to be honest. You know, with Skarmory being more in the meta, Skarmory's a very rock, paper, scissors Pokemon. You either absolutely get thumped by it, or you just wall it. There's really no in between. So grass types having access to maybe more electric type attacks, maybe more fire type attacks, excuse me, I think that would do a world good for them. Yeah, here we go, here's the Smeargle. So I saw the lock on, I was worried at this point, and I knew that I could survive one flying press. So, well, I'd probably survive a few actually, but they come in with a try attack, and I just, yeah, it's game over for them at this point. No, I'm joking, but yeah. So Scrafty, I come in with the, because they had Lick on the seal. Icy Wind does more than I thought it would. But because they've got Lick and obviously Scrafty is a dark type, that was my choice for coming in there. Plus as well with the Power Up Punch, anything that they're doing with their Icy Wind, any of the debuffs, we can just completely negate that. And so they actually went for Aqua Tail there, which was a bit random. Maybe it's, I don't actually know the energy counts for those moves. Maybe Aqua Tail's a bit less. Actually, I think it would be actually, yeah. But yeah, and so it's a very sort of boring cup. It's a lot of things take a long time to actually get damaged and sort of whittle their health down. You'll see here, even with Tri Attack on the against the Marill, it barely does anything. Bubble Beam does barely anything. Bronzor, sure, it's chunky away with the confusion, but really it's not doing that much. And so, yeah, we're just gonna keep going with the Psyshock here. Gonna do some nice damage. They are gonna shield it up, so we can let anything go through. Because Smeargle, you can't double move a Smeargle. So because we know that they've got Tri Attack, our Bronzor is just looking brilliant against this thing. And of course, they do have their other Bronzor in the back. We are gonna shield this up, just in case it's the payback, and build up to our own payback. Of course, we do still have the Marill in the back, which is okay for us, because obviously they can't one-shot a Marill. But yeah, taking that game. Bronzer up against the double, a bit of a, I don't actually know who actually wins, but just at first glance, it's a sort of neutral matchup. I would have to probably guess that Bronzer would win, depending on baits, obviously. And just because Bronzer is so tanky in the little cup. I do try and catch a payback onto the Marill. Unfortunately, they read us, and yeah, we don't manage that. They come in with the Bronzer, and just going for the bubble beams, just going to nicely take their attack down and lower their attack as low as we can. Shielding up a move here. I don't know why I shielded. They go for a payback, and that just would have done nothing at all. I really don't know why I shielded that. I don't know, I must have thought it was going to be a heavy slam, but even then, that still would have only done neutral, so yeah, really questionable play from here. Don't get me wrong, it's very long and boring battles, but at the same time, there's not really much, I don't know, I don't want to sound sort of negative, but there's not really much skill involved in these. It's very sort of tanky Pokemon versus tanky Pokemon, and you just tap, 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 tap. There's really a lot less sort of thought that goes into whether you shield or not, you know, just because everything is surviving for so much longer. And yeah, it's a decent enough cup. There's definitely, well, is there worse cups? I'm not actually sure, to be honest. But yeah, I just thought I'd give it a go anyway. Just figured I had the Pokemon, and Bronzer and Marill make a really nice core, so we figured, yeah, let's do it. They go for the payback against me, and unfortunately, I see the writing on the wall, and I'm going to give up there. Next match in here against, I obviously forgot to trim this clip, Bronzer into the Wooper, not a very good lead, so I'm going to just instantly swap into the Marill, and they do unfortunately come in with the Cottony, and so I'm just going to go straight for Body Slam. I was sort of tempted to go, well, I wasn't actually that tempted. I was thinking about going for Bubble Beams just to get their attack lower, but it's just not worth it. Just because the Body Slam does a decent amount of damage anyway. Gonna shield up the Seed Bomb, purely because obviously Charm is a very slow charging move, so I know I'll be able to get to a couple of moves before they get to their next move. And obviously their Charm isn't doing a whole lot, and they let that go through as well, which is really nice. I'm gonna go in for the Bubble Beam here. It's sort of, it's a double-edged sword because we're lowering their attack, which is nice for the next Pokemon that we bring in, but at the same time, because we're lowering their attack, they're getting even more energy farmed down off of us, but they do swap out, and so what we're going to do is just going to let this go through. We tank a Mud Bomb quite nicely. I'm just going to come in with a Scrafty, let everything go through, I want to say. Going to go for a Power-Up Punch. I did try to go on the CMP tie, however, I was not counting correctly. Either that or they were overcharging, over-farming, I should say. Just going to let that go through. And at this point, I just go straight for the Psyshock, just because I think, okay, I wasn't sure. I want to get their shield plus as well. I'm going to shield up the Mud Bomb just because I know that the Mud Bomb is going to be doing more damage than anything that Wobbuffet can throw. They literally only have Mirror Coat because it is not purified. Obviously, you only get return if you purify. So, to be fair, they could still have Frustration, which if they wanted to go for that, then good for them, I suppose. And so, they go for the Mirror Coat, just does absolutely nothing at all. Bronzer is just so tanky in this cup, it is wild. And so they're gonna farm us down there, and we're gonna farm them down and we're gonna win. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button as well, and help us on the road to 10k. Any team suggestions, any video ideas, let me know down in the comments below. I do read all comments. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya. Peace.